As an exercise physiologist, here's 3 popular mobility drills that I would never waste time on. These are the sort of things you've probably seen all over Instagrams and interwebs, and you might even be doing them yourself. They're not going to help you improve your movement or mobility, and in fact, they might even make you stiffer. In this video, I'm going to break down why and show you what to do instead. The good old classic hamstring stretch has become somewhat of a benchmark of flexibility, and it's one thing to be able to reach your toes, that's fine. But if you're feeling tight, and a lot of people who are doing things like this, gaining range of motion, trying to touch their toes, using it to hit these benchmarks, they still pull up stiff, they're still sore, and they still feel weak and vulnerable in their hamstrings. That's because stretching your hamstrings might allow you to get to your toes temporarily. You're going to get some short-term gains, but they're not going to fix the problems of that stiffness and the tightness. And in fact, your hamstrings might be stiff because they are weak. You know, they're locking up that range of motion, they're protecting you. They don't want to allow you to move through these full ranges of motion because they don't know what's going to happen. So I often say your hamstrings aren't tight, they're scared. The way we can make them less scared is to make them strong through that full range. When we add this sort of load, we make structural change to the muscle, which is lasting and permanent change. So to bring that into your hamstrings, very simple. It's coming into a hamstring stretch where we're going to have the knee a bit bent. We're going to load forward. We're going to add load into this by pushing our foot down as hard as we can. I usually look for 3 10-second contractions here. We then want to move into that frontal plane with that side-to-side motion. So we're going to turn around, slide down the leg, and same thing, 3 10-second contractions. And then rotationally, we're going to look to get that, and you should feel that through the side of the leg. We're not only going to affect our hamstrings in 3 planes of motion, we're also going to take into account that the hamstrings are more than one muscle. And when we stretch, we're not just stretching muscle, we're stretching lots of stuff. So lots of things in our body, down to blood vessels, etc., respond to load. By making sure that we're hitting it in these 3 planes, we're making sure that everything gets a bit of love. Now for me, the number 1 on the most wanted list of crappy mobility exercises would be the foam rolling with the ITB. I still have people come into my clinic and their physio, EP, trainer, whatever, has told them to roll their ITB. Basic anatomy tells us that we can't do anything to that tissue. It is tissue that's meant to be tight. It is there to help in stability purposes, and there's no point rolling it. Some of that temporary relief that you get from rolling is probably just mitigating some of those pain signals through the pressure around your quad and the side of your leg, but we're certainly not creating any sort of change there. If we did want to create change in the ITB, we would look to target the tissue that can adapt, which attaches to the ITB, which is at the top of your hip, your TFL. So if you are prone to wanting to lie on things and roll on things, pop a ball in a TFL, put some pressure on that, hang there for a few minutes, let that release. You could even roll side to side, etc. if rolling is your thing. And ideally, again, following it up with some sort of loaded stretching where we can actually target the TFL specifically by coming into a position where we might rotate that back leg in, get a bit of side to side, and you should feel that tension, that load around the front of the hip, the same place that you'll be putting the ball. Now the banded pigeon stretch and the banded 99s and these sort of things became popular when people started improving their flexibility. One problem with banded distractions, as they're called, is that we're looking to apply pressure to a joint where we don't even know its location initially. So these things can be utilized well if we maybe have a joint sitting posterior or anterior in a capsule. However, if we don't know this, we could be making things worse. What we could do instead is orientate our pelvis in a position where we know things are going to be a little bit more even. So rather than a 90-90, I call this position a 90-90-ish. We bring that back knee up a little bit further. You'll probably notice that you can have the pelvis a little bit more flat, and we can start to apply better load into that target glute. So to really make sure you're targeting glute in this exercise, rather than feeling like you're killing it and moving forward and bring your chest down as far as you can, you actually want to bring your chest up and forward. That's going to get the pelvis to roll off the ground, and the glute's going to have to respond to that because it's trying to pull you back. Again, go for 3 times 10-second contractions. Now, if you want to advance this and you want to add more load, you could grab a weight and hold on to that while you're pushing into the leg. Or if you're having trouble actually getting that glute to load, sometimes holding onto a weight or something like that can help you to create more tension around the target muscle area. A couple of things I want you to take from this is that when we relax in a stretch or just hang out in a stretch, or when we kind of offset our range of motion requirements to things like foam rolls, etc., we're not learning to gain control. Getting strong at things is training our brain to use things, whether that's lifting a weight or holding a stretch or holding a loaded stretch. We need to tell our brain we're safe here, we're strong here, and tell our brain to fire up as many of those motor units as we can in the muscle. Doing these isometrics is a very good way to do that. And most of what we've spoken about here are phase 1 strategies in my Stretch Yourself Strong system. We have a range of things that would build onto that from here, but starting here is going to be better than most things that most of you are doing. And I'm sure you've seen these sort of things on the Instagrams and the interwebs. These are better alternatives, and I'm sure you can get a lot out of it. So that's it, 3 things that I think you should change up. These things look good, but I don't think they're going to get you to goals you want. We want mobility that transfers. We want to get good at movement and stuff. Unless you just want to look good on Instagram, then pop your bikini on and get into these things and share and regurgitate the same information that everyone else is on Instagram, because that's the worst part of this. Everyone just resharing the same regurgitated rubbish. And hopefully I'm here to give you some new ideas about things. If you have any questions about what I am talking about, please feel free to comment. If it helped, share with your friends. If you want to jump on one of our programs, make sure you have a look. And if you want some more ideas into how to improve your hip range of motion, click the video wherever it goes. See you in the next one.